light skin wiggle.
How basketball saved my life. It's your host at the easy button at Twan the Don. Without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, chat. Life tried to drown me. This hoop is like my life jacket. This ice in my veins is something Titanic. Lockdown defense kept me out that center for detention. Divine intervention passes over to my center. Alleyways of the alley-oops. Some got no looks and passed away when somebody shoots. Back in court duos, but nobody hoops. The wrists follow through, but the cuffs gotta loop. Pick a book or pick that biggie book. It's just you and I, out running suicides. Me, I was out running suicide. Boy, I'm going in, dropping gems that I picked up in these gyms. I can't slack, I've been down and back. I'm just trying to share a few tales from this thing called life. Count my assists, and I swear that basketball really saved my life. Yeah, chat, I swear it saved my life. Let's go.
Welcome to another episode of How Basketball Saved My Life. I'm your host, The Easy Button.
Your boy Twan the Don.
And we got my man, Dominique Franks, in the building. Man, I'm so glad you could make it. And you know what? Thanks for being patient with us, because figuring out all this here, this is a lot. But, you know what I'm saying, you came through and you're showing love. So we about to get it rocking, man.
Yeah,
we about to get it rocking. So let's get straight to it. My man, Dom Franks, played football at OU for 3 years, 07, 08, 09?
06.
06
my freshman year.
06, 07, 08, right? You played 3 years.
And then 09.
I thought you played 3 years.
I played 3, but I redshirted my freshman year.
See?
Yeah.
Google didn't tell me that.
So
Google didn't tell me that. Okay, so he played 3 years, but he was there for 4.
Yeah.
Got drafted to the Atlanta Hawks.
Falcons don't. I wish it was basketball.
I know. I'm waiting like, come on.
Man, I was about to. If you know something I don't know, I'm about to make that call.
Like, wait, it was the it was the Hawks. My man got drafted to the Atlanta Falcons, man, and played 5 years in the NFL.
Yes, sir.
5 years in the NFL. What people don't know, I know they don't know this because I didn't know this. He's a state champ in basketball his sophomore year, and then he went to state again his senior year and lost in the championship. Who'd y'all lose to?
PCO.
PCO. Any PC school is just cold, is what I've heard.
Nah, man.
Nah?
Nah, we got cheated, man.
You got cheated?
Yeah, we should have won, man.
Well, talk to us about it.
Man, the refs, man, so we had some city refs, and it's crazy because my mother knows.
Some Oklahoma City refs.
Yeah, the city refs, man.
I know where you're going with it.
So my whole family is from Oklahoma City, so my mother and aunties, they still be going out. I don't know if y'all ever heard of the Granny there on the east side.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that.
Tree Lounge, you know what I'm saying? So
Tree
it's
Lounge.
for the older crowd.
That's what it is now.
So one of the refs who refed my state championship game, he told my mother, like when I was in college, like, yeah, we had to get Dominique in foul trouble because we was tired of the Tulsa teams always winning.
No!
Yeah, so he told my mother that. So every time I see him, like, I'm like, yo, you cost me a ring.
What
so
bruh name?
I don't even know his name.
We about to report him. I don't care. It's in the
So-
past, but we about to report him.
So the thing is like, so I won my sophomore year. I should have won my senior year, and then I won football my junior and senior year at Union. So I should have left high school with four rings, but I only had 3, thanks to him.
Thanks to him.
Wow. I can feel the pressure right there. Then.
So normally people be like they got cheated, but you really got
Yeah,
cheated.
bro, I really got cheated.
You really
they
got cheated.
was calling fouls on me, and I wasn't even in the play.
Oh.
So my coach, we was up by 6. My memory crazy. We up by 6 with 1 minute and 27 seconds left going into halftime. We up 6. My coach take me out. We go into halftime down by 15, and we can never get back. They just started pressing. Cause see, I did 2 years in Putnam City. I went to Cooper, so I grew up with all of them. You know, with Keith Clark, Ronnie Highsall.
So you lost to your homies.
Yeah, so them was my homies. Like, when we lost, I sat on the court, I'm crying, bro. Instead of Keith Clark, instead of Ronnie going to celebrate with their team, they came over there and picked me up and gave me a hug. Love. So it was, you know what I'm saying? It's respect because they're my dogs, but we need to run that again.
Run that back.
Y'all still talk about it?
Man,
Oh,
nah,
it's in the past,
man. I mean, it hurt me, man, because I had a D1 guard at the time, and he was a junior. And he had to guard Xavier. Xavier as a freshman, #1 player in the
Xavier
country.
Henry.
Yeah.
So
Went to KU, didn't he?
So Xavier went
Yeah.
6 for 6 just shooting corner threes. So my D1 cat, he didn't shoot not one shot the whole game.
He was shook. What it was?
Yeah, that
him
stage
out like
was
that?
that stage was too big for him. So I still cuss him out every time I see him.
I would too.
I can't get a shot from him, bro. He averaged like 20 the whole year.
You can't average 20 and not shoot the ball.
Yeah.
bro.
I mean, not shoot the ball. I can see if you shoot and miss it, not
Right.
an attempt.
Ugh.
But then you let your man score 18 on you. I was hurt.
Yeah, it's
Like
tough.
I was
Yeah,
hurt.
I'm
He went
going at
6 for
your neck.
6.
When
At
I see
least.
him, I might have hey, don't let me know who he is, because I might have to tell him a thing or two.
Bro, I was hurt,
That's
man.
trash.
It still bothers me to this day, man. Like I said, I should have 4 of them things.
So then you believe that the stage matters for some players.
Yeah.
So how was
Definitely.
it for you whenever you played on big stages?
Man,
Did
it
you
was
treat it like another game, or did it bring something out you?
That height.
Man, I really treated it like another game. Like I was really blessed because when I played AAU basketball, I played with a team called the Red Hawks, and I had Sam Bradford on my team, Obi Munello, Ep6 Udo.
Sam Bradford played basketball too?
Yeah, man, we got a tight little bond, man. We're gonna get into that too when
must
we
be
go
able
back
to-
to OU. So
He must be able to shoot that thing.
yeah, and got bounce.
Oh.
So
Bradford
I started
with the
I started
bounce?
playing AAU with them and going into like 6th grade or 7th grade, and we was basically the number 2 team in the country. But when we went to nationals, they matched us up on the same side as Mike Conley.
Okay.
So to in the final
still
four,
a dog.
Yeah. So to go to the national championship in the final 4, we always got matched up on their side. So we always lost by like 3 or 4,
Had the toughest
and then they
game.
would go to the national championship and
win.
win the national championship by 30, and we would win the 3rd place game by 20.
30.
So that was the championship game, basically.
Basically, so you know what I'm saying? Being able to be on that stage at such a young age, and we played them every year. So then
So you said young age. What age?
I would say it probably started when I was probably like 12, 13.
so y'all
So
was
playing,
cracking.
you know, so
Y'all
playing in front
was
of playing in a high school arena, college arenas, and it's filled up because everybody is staying at nationals. You know, it kind of prepared me for that high school playing in front of a lot of people, and then shoot. When I went to Union my junior year, we played against Jinx, and that's when they had it at the University of Tulsa.
Yep.
We was getting like 30, 40,000 people at the games.
So you've been in the mix a long
So
time.
it really prepped
In
me.
a
So,
high school game?
yeah, so when I was in high school,
AAU tournament, right?
this is football now.
Okay.
So when I was in high school, the Union and Jinx rivalry, USA Today was ranked the #1 rivalry in the country.
Wow.
So then that prepared me to go to OU to play in front of 80, 90,000, because now I'm like, well, I'm used to this.
Wow.
Right.
I'm used to a college
So you
stadium
got
being
myself
filled
now.
up.
You used
So
to
it really,
college
so it really
atmosphere.
blessed me, man, with that. So I was able to treat it like another game because the stage was never too big for me.
Dang. So
You
because
prepared.
I mean, you hear like when LeBron, because we gon' it ain't no sports show if LeBron don't come up, right? So you hear
Not
that,
true.
whatever.
Anyway, cut that, man.
We ain't cutting that. So you hear about, some of the championships LeBron lost is because the stage was too big for him and, like stuff like that. That's why I wanted to ask you, because I don't think it was ever the stage was too big for him. It really was just his game. So, you know what I'm saying? Talk about the stage being too big. It was never too big for you. You know what I'm saying? So did you play in any high-level basketball or football in middle school, you know what I'm saying, to kind of prepare you for that next phase?
Really not too much, like actually playing in Oklahoma. Like I can credit the atmosphere when we went to like nationals and played on the AAU
What was nationals
circuit.
at?
We played my first year. It was
Y'all go to Vegas or y'all went to
Cocoa
Orlando?
Beach, Florida.
Yeah, okay.
It was
Florida.
Cocoa Beach, Florida.
Yeah.
So we played. We took second. They actually saw my 16 and under year. We went to Memphis. That's where we took
First
second.
round, yeah.
So I mean, I played in a lot of places, and that really it just really helped me out playing against the best kids in the country, and just having everybody, no matter if they lost that first 2 days, everybody stayed and wanted to watch.
Yeah.
You still gonna get big crowds. That's why I love nationals. When
Man,
we were
right.
around. That was the best part. I didn't care about AAU until nationals came around.
Facts.
For real.
Facts.
In the gym, where everybody walk around with the homies, it'd be deep.
Yeah.
But that's what I like that you said y'all stayed and watched. I don't think these kids today watch hoops for real. You know what I'm saying? Like they gonna watch somebody highlight, you know what I'm saying? But they're not watching basketball. Like if you lose a game, you leave. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that. They just leave.
They all playing with their friends who is dogs now. You know, we used to have to play against the dogs unless you just was so happily lucky that they was all in your town. But if they wasn't all in your town, nobody moved to a certain town to play on the AAU team with dogs like that. So you feel me? We had to play against them. Now they all playing together. They buddy now. So makes it harder for them to feel me watch, I guess, the other ones because they already playing with the dogs.
And like you said, man, we just live in to piggyback on what both of y'all saying, like it's just right now we live in a different era because
Big facts.
we live in a social media era.
Yeah.
Facts.
So now it's cool to be from Oklahoma, but be like Trey and play for Mocan Elite out of Kansas.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
It's different. You know what I'm saying? So like,
it's like you're not tight if you ain't doing that.
yeah. So when I was in high school, we only had athletes first.
Yep.
Which was basically kind of like how the Team Griffin was, but we didn't
I'm about to
have
say
So many of them.
athletes first turned to Team Griffin, right?
exactly.
Right.
Yep.
So that was the only team. So growing up,
That's what
when
everybody
you got
for.
that call and you was like, hey, like we having tryouts, we want you to come try out. You like,
I'm on.
yo, we playing to the death. We out there fighting because it's
I'm
like
on.
it was like that was like we made it to the NBA. Like when you
Yeah.
can walk around and they be like, hey, who you play AAU with? And you say A1 and they like, whoa, A1.
Okay.
Oh, he.
Yeah.
They gonna know.
I don't need to ask
They
him
gonna look
nothing
at you like
else.
this.
Yeah, like he nice.
Yeah, he gotta be
He
nice.
nice, bro.
Yeah.
So it's just different because now we have Team Griffin. We got Trey Young elite. I think Buddy got a
Buckets,
team.
yeah.
So it's so spread out
Yeah.
that it was like
Shout
we was
out
trying to get
Oklahoma
the-
Power. That's who I coach with.
Okay, Oklahoma Power. So it's just different, man. And it's just that media age. Like now I see a lot of kids don't play outside like how we did.
Kids don't
exactly.
play
Ever.
Everything is I'm on YouTube. So back to what you said about kids don't watch, like everything is about highlights now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if we watch a highlight, everybody highlight is gonna be good instead of being able to watch a full game and be able to really say, okay, this is what they did wrong.
What
Well, I don't
plays
want
he
to do
take
this.
off or-
Exactly. So it's just a different time, man, than how we were when we was growing up.
Granted, I feel like it works in their favor too, because it's a lot more people who
Facts.
probably in little towns who don't play for maybe big schools who are really getting seen now and get to go play for the AAU team to show that they really with
It's
it.
good
So,
and bad, man.
I mean, it's good and bad,
And
but
it's
it's
crazy
a lot
what
more
you-
people I feel like popping out.
And it is
That
because
we
like what
wouldn't
you
notice.
said, I was on Twitter the other day and it's a kid from Beggs, Oklahoma. He just got an offer from LSU.
You feel me?
What?
Football.
Yeah.
So
I ain't never
growing
even
up-
heard of Big.
Exactly. So growing up in Oklahoma, like when I was in high school, the only way you was able to go D1 is if you
6A.
was at a 6A school.
Yeah.
So like he said, that social media is just becoming so big and it's helping. There's so many platforms to push players out.
I grew up in Orlando. You know what I'm saying? So when I heard of Oklahoma, I only knew Tulsa,
Right.
OKC, and Norman. It wasn't no other
right.
city.
I mean that's
Like-
really surprising that you even knew that. You know what I'm saying? Most people just be like, Oklahoma, where's that at? Like, do y'all ride horses? out
No,
there?
like I
ain't gonna
thought
lie,
that
that's
too.
what
I
it
was getting there.
Yeah, like,
You know, I came from Cali, so that's exactly what I thought. I was like, I'm going to Oklahoma, man. I bet they still on Will.
No,
Man,
look,
facts.
when I
Facts. Tom
they
Brady
was on
rolled
a horse
around and everything.
They
Yeah.
was on a horse when I got out here though.
Yeah, no, that's real. That's real. Because I live in Spencer, man, and I seen a dude when I was probably like in high school. I was visiting my peoples out there, and I go past McDonald's. It's a dude at the drive-thru on his horse.
Oh, bro.
Like I'm talking about
they really
paying-
ride out. Y'all got him
But like
in Spencer
that's,
because I
I'm
got
like, yo, this
He
is
was
one
in
of the
a
dudes I
ride
work
through.
with from Spencer.
like
They-
ride through, like literally like on the horse, like, let me, okay, like, and got on there and start eating this burger.
They
like,
really
go
be
home.
out
I
there in
said,
Spencer,
yo, this
I don't know.
wild out here, man.
Y'all ride
Crazy.
them like motorcycles in Spencer, I heard. So
Yeah, so
But
see,
they
I'm-
won't let me walk through the drive-through though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
why I
but-
can't walk through the?
But on the horse, you good though. So it really blew my mind because I'm from Northside Oklahoma City, so I'm a city boy. So when I went to Spencer, it was like, yo, like people really live like this. So it was different. So I couldn't imagine what it was like for y'all coming
Man.
from Orlando and Cali. Like that's
Bruh.
different.
So we about to get into OU real quick, but before we get into OU, when did you actually pick up a basketball? I always want to know this from the basketball players.
Man,
We calling you a basketball player, by
to
the way.
be, yeah, that's what I am.
it is now.
So
shoot.
really, man, to be honest, like it was probably like when I was born because my daddy was a hooper. So he had me, you know what I'm saying? I got videos at the crib where I'm dribbling a men's basketball in between my legs.
At what
3.
age? At 3?
So it was just different. Like he had me prom. So that's where my love for the game, it started early.
love.
So that's just like how my little boy is right now. My little boy is 3 and he can already shoot a women's basketball and make a layup.
That's love.
Go through cones and everything. He
My
love
little
it. So
dude 6, and we just now got him shooting on that thing.
He official. Like he gonna be ready, but it's just, man, so I have to say it was somewhere around then, man, when I actually started with, hey, basketball is it.
So safe to say basketball was first love.
Oh yeah, easy. I'm gonna be real with y'all. Like I never liked football. I just rolled the wave.
Right.
That makes sense.
I real life just rolled the wave.
Bro, you gotta, in life, I've learned, you gotta like who like you. Like, in high school, I got in some relationships with some girls that I shouldn't have got. Because I'm the type of person, I like who like me.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Right.
And so, that's kind of what you did with football. It was like, football, she not as good looking as basketball.
But she like me.
But she like me.
gonna
And
take
she's
care
showing
of
me
me.
lots of attention.
Yup.
You know what I'm saying? So that's cool. Now, you brought up your young boy. What's his name? Dior. So, are you going to brainwash Dior into basketball?
No.
Or are you going to let him play both?
Not at all. Like really, it don't really matter what he play. You know what I'm saying? Because I was fortunate and blessed enough to be able to live the life that I wanted to live. So I was able to play 2 pro sports. So what I wanted to do, I did. So I don't have to live through him.
Right.
So just whatever. If he don't even want to play sports, I'll be cool with that. As
Right.
long whatever what makes you happy. Because you see a lot of parents now like push their kids to try to do it. So no, I don't want to brainwash them at all. Like whatever you decide, I'm with it.
So since you was able to play both sports and you gonna let little man play, do you think what age you feel like you gonna let him start? You gonna kind of shelter him there on when to start, or you just gonna let him jump right into it at a young age?
it's really tough because you know his mama's a hooper too. So she coaches JUCO in Kansas.
Oh yeah, so he gonna
So
Oh, it's
he
in his
already ready. Like
Hoop-minded.
I know how to hoop and
Right.
pass and shoot and
It's
dribble.
in his blood.
So he's kind of ready now, but it's like
You ready to go
But
play in the
it's just like
7U.
Yeah, it's just like man, just whenever she be like, hey, he got a game, I'm like, all right, I'm there. But
Yeah.
But I asked
don't
for like
wanna
on the
push it.
football like
On the
side
football?
because like I got a little man too, and like I play both sports coming. I played all the way JUCO. I played both sports. So, but my mindset is I don't think I'm gonna let my little man play football until maybe
Mine ain't playing football.
junior high, 8th grade
Period.
or higher, when he like, dad, I really want to play, and that's kind of the only way I'm gonna let him. So that's
Okay.
how I'm asking you. You play both professionally, so like if little man like I want to play Mighty Mike's football, how you feeling?
I'm gonna let him play.
Okay.
If that's what he want, because he, you know what I'm saying, he's smart enough. Because just last year I was like, hey, you gonna play football? And he was like, no, Daddy, I want to play basketball. So I was like, well, I guess he don't want to play football. So then now when I see him, he be like, Daddy, I want to watch football. So that football is starting to come around too. So just whenever, man. But it'll probably be more depending on who he friends with.
Okay.
And if they playing football, they gonna
That's
be like,
gonna dictate.
well, Daddy, I want to play because he playing.
My
So
homies
it's just-
playing. That's
yeah.
gonna dictate.
That definitely
So
makes
I
sense.
started basketball late, so I'm kind of not. That's why I started my son at 6 years old,
Mm-hmm.
5 years old, really playing like shooting and doing stuff. Cause I started in middle school. You know what I'm saying? Basketball,
Yeah, you was like, so what was
So,
you doing outside?
soccer.
Okay.
I was
Haitian.
soccer.
So that's
I'm
why
Haitian, bro.
So
I was
that's
born
why
in Haiti.
so that's why the footwork's so nice.
That's why the
Yeah.
footwork
That makes sense.
all right.
That makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was
Okay.
playing soccer barefooted, bro. Like, and so I'm not in a rush to make my son play basketball.
Facts.
You know, but I understand that kids are starting so early now.
Got to.
I feel like, man, I don't want him to get behind. But my wife played basketball too.
Okay.
And so we both played college together. So I'm like, it's in his blood. When
Yeah.
he ready, it's gonna be like,
And it's just gonna be like a light switch go
It's
off. He
gonna be like-
I got it.
boom. You know what I'm saying? So, man, that's gems. You dropping gems right now because I bet
everything.
it's a lot of people want to know which way to go. And, you know, like I don't put on nothing in my house but basketball because I'm brainwashing that fool. I'm just keeping it real.
Yeah.
But that's because he only really
I'm
played
brainwashed.
basketball.
Yeah, that's
you
right.
feel
But I
me?
mean,
So-
ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I love basketball. Like, and I'm that type of person. Like, even when I was getting recruited for college, like when the Big Ten schools was calling me, I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I love it, but I can't come there
You shut
because
down the Big Ten.
man, everywhere is cold. Ohio State,
That's
Minnesota,
what I'm saying. You
Penn
shut down
State.
the Big Ten.
Bro, you know how cold it is out there? Like,
Nah.
it
Boy, you
starts.
better get
No.
a big coat and get your
And play out there. You can't play in the cold,
Bro,
Hey, it starts snowing at like
been to
September.
Ohio. He never been
I
to
ain't
Ohio.
never been, but you ain't gonna big.
Ohio?
Bro,
is the coldest place I've been at. And I've been to Chicago.
Bro, just think about it. What you mean? So Northwestern is in Chicago.
Yeah.
So you got Chicago, Minnesota, Penn State, Ohio, Iowa. Who else in the Big Ten? Bro, it's too many.
Bro.
It's too many cold schools. I'm like, nah, man, I'm cool on
My
that.
son was born in Columbus. Columbus, Ohio is the first place I ever walked outside and turned around and walked back inside. I was like, I ain't doing
it's
this.
cold.
We are gym babies. The cold should not bother us.
Bruh. He's
But
saying
you gotta think, I
that.
went to school for football.
Yeah.
He outside.
So I gotta practice in that. So yeah, what you talking about, like that's
I
cool.
got
But
you.
I'm out there
I got
practicing
you.
that. I'm like, nah, I'm cool on that, man. I
I
can't
got
do it.
you. Yeah.
Boom. So then let's segue right into how you chose football over basketball. Because clearly,
It sound like
football
right.
didn't stand a dying chance.
No,
but
first
yeah.
off, hold on. Before
Here
we
go.
get to
Talk
that,
me.
since you didn't like football, how did we even get into football is the question. Because
Okay.
you didn't even really mess with footballs with it sounding like. So
Nah,
how did you even get into it?
I really didn't. And you know what I'm saying? This is how I'm gonna start this off. Is gonna go back to your question about my little man wanting to play football. So I was on a basketball team with, you know, Keith Clark, Gerald McCoy. He playing NFL now.
Yep.
So the basketball team that I was on, they all transitioned to football.
So Gerald McCoy played basketball too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, you gotta
Big
get him
boy.
on the
Low
show.
post?
Get him
Yeah,
on the
big
show.
boy.
Low
Big
post?
boy.
Gerald McCoy.
Whatever you want.
Frank's gonna hit you. You gonna come on the show.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit him, man,
Body
whenever he comes.
control.
So the basketball team I was on, all of those kids played football. So they was like, hey, you're not doing nothing else. You might as well just come play
You
football.
bored?
So I was like, whatever.
Okay.
So
my
I went
dogs.
to go play. So I played like 1 or 2 years, but my allergies are real bad. So my body used to break out in white bumps, whatever touched the grass. So my mother used to have to rub cream on me, and she would cry. And then eventually she was just like, man, you done.
That what?
So then
Hives.
I'm like, shit, it's hot outside. Like I'm cool
Okay,
with that.
Mom.
Like,
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So we end up moving to Tulsa.
What's wrong with
I
you
went to-
Oklahoma folks running away from that weather?
Hey man, it was too hot, man. So when I went to Tulsa, I moved to Owasso, and you know what I'm saying, I went to go meet with the guidance counselor, and she asked me what sports I played. I was like, basketball. Well, she was like, well, if you play basketball, you're gonna have to lift weights during football season with the basketball team. And I'm like, ma'am, I'm going into 8th grade, that's gonna stunt my growth, because you know that's all we hear growing
That's
up.
we used to
what
hear.
we taught.
So she was the
And
older
coffee.
she was the older white lady. So she was like,
Clearly,
well,
it helped. Clearly, she was right. Well, you was right because you ain't grow much.
yeah, right. So she was like, well, you can run cross country. And I was like, yeah, ma'am, I don't even
run
like
no
track.
cross
Like, so
country.
I'm not running cross country.
I wish I ran track.
Nah, I'm not
Yeah,
with it.
track, I ain't gonna lie, track did good for
I
me.
wasn't doing no cross
can't do
country,
it.
but
But
I
not
wish
cross
I ran
country
track.
though. Yeah.
Man, I
But
can't.
run it though. Like, I'm into this.
I can't do it. So she told me that, and I was like, well, what else can I do? And she was like, well, you can go play football. And I was like, all right. So I thought
did this before.
I thought I was gonna be able to go out there and just be the water boy.
You lying.
Straight captain. He's straight captain.
Beat me. I'll call my mama right now. I'll call her, put her on speaker right now. We can bring her back. So I wanted to be the water boy, but
sound
I didn't
like
really
me.
know. I didn't really know the dynamic of Owasso until I moved.
Okay.
So it was pretty much an all white town.
Yeah.
So when I went out there in the 8th grade, I was the only black kid. So as the kids are doing the drills, I'm playing like I'm tying my shoe. I'm talking to people. So I'm letting everybody skip me. So the coach come over there to me. I'm like, damn.
You already know.
He like, so you the new move in? And I'm like, well,
I guess I
Ain't
ain't
too many more.
I mean, there ain't too many that look like me. So yeah. And he was like, what position you want to play? And I was like, man, to be honest, I don't. Like, I just want to be the water boy. And he was like, water boy? He was like, as you see, we don't really have too much talent around here. So he was like, that's out of the question.
This is an NFL player. He wanted to be the water boy, Bobby Boucher.
So wait.
Oh God.
I just wanted, listen though, I just wanted to get out of running cross country and lifting weights. So I just wanted to get out of that.
Right.
So he was like, no, you're going to have to pick a position. So I'm like, well, let me play receiver. He like,
That's the go-to.
no.
What?
And I'm like,
You
wait
just asked me.
Yeah, so he was like, I'm gonna put you at running back. And I said, man, wait a minute.
Trying to get me
I
cracked up.
said, running back where the quarterback handled the ball. He was like, yeah. I was like, nah, man. I said, you trying to get me killed? I never played that position before.
Right.
So he was like, listen, as soon as you get the ball, just go score. I said, man, that sounds easy, but it can't be that easy. He was like, trust me, when you get it, just go score. I said, all right, so you got to promise me one thing. He was like, what? I said, if I mess up, you can't yell at me because you want me to play this position. I don't want to play this position.
Big facts.
So he looked me in my eyes and he said, you won't mess up. I was like, man, whatever. 2 weeks later, come around.
You got so much confidence in you.
That's what I'm saying. So, man, I don't know what I got myself into. So it's like 2 weeks later, we playing against Stillwater. This is my first game, running back. So I'm nervous. First carry, 80 yards. So I finished the game with 7 touchdowns, 500 yards rushing.
Oh, dang.
So I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, wait. That's just the first game. Every game ain't gonna be like that.
That's Stillwater.
He was like, he set this up so I can look good and keep playing.
So I can keep doing it. So I got so big when I was in the Wausau that we was playing at the 7th grade, the old high school stadium, which was at the 7th grade. That's where we was playing at. So my second or third week, they had to move my games to the high school because the whole city was coming out to watch me play.
Touchdowns, bro.
So they was 8th grade?
Yeah, 8th grade. Okay. So they was selling out my 8th grade games.
500 yards.
They couldn't sell out the varsity games. So they moved my games to the varsity games. So every game was like that, blessing. So the head varsity coach would come to every one of my basketball games. And so
At
Wausau. So I had to get escorted. So I lived across the street from the school. So they had to call my mama and like, hey, we ready for y'all to come in there. Because the kids would go crazy when I was in the gym and they wouldn't let the game go on. So I used to have to get called and get escorted. I would get escorted by the sheriffs, 2 sheriffs, and I would just walk right across the court and go to the locker room. Well,
so you had a relationship with the sheriffs.
Yeah, because they had to walk me into the gym.
Hey, that's a good relationship to have.
Man, right.
Listen,
so the varsity football coach used to wait at the door. As soon as I walk in, he'd be like, hey, Dominique, I'm Coach Smith. I'm like, what's up, Coach? He like, you're going to be my starting running back on varsity next year. And I'm like, Coach, I'm still in that mindset, like, I want to hoop, even though I came off of a great 8th grade year. So I'm like, man, I just want to hoop. And he like, nah, you're going to be great. I'm like, man, I heard this before. So I'm like, whatever. So in the summertime, they called me up, and JV was practicing on one side, varsity was practicing on one side. So I was on the JV side. So my first carry, I made like 2 people miss, and then I go score. So he pulled me from the JV side, pulled me to varsity. I never did anything else JV. So then when we went to TU team camp in July, that's where I received my first offer.
TU being
Tulsa University.
Copy.
So going into my freshman year, they offered me a full ride scholarship before I even played high school football. So we play our first game against Stillwater again my freshman year. He only played me like 3 to 5 plays. So I go in his office on Monday and I'm like, hey, if you was going to pull me up on varsity, why wouldn't you let me play?
He ain't going to waste you for
I'm like, because if you was going to waste me, you could just let me go back down there with my dogs on freshman and I could kill again and be cool. He was like, no, Dominique, don't worry about it. I got something planned for you. So I was like, all right. So the second week, we played against Stillwater. It's on live TV. This is when Cox was real big. This is when they showed back then. They showed the games live on TV. So it was huge back then. Man, so we do the coin. So the first game, I didn't do no kickoff return, no punt return. So this game, I'm doing kickoff return. So we win the coin toss. We elect to receive. Man, they kick it. They kick it off. I jump up and I catch it. Go 99 yards for a touchdown. Ooh. So my first varsity touch, I score. So then, so we up 7-0. Freshman year. So then we go 3. We kick the extra point, 7-0. We kick the ball off, touchback. They go 3 and out. He just pulled me, Dominique, go do punt return. I'm like, wait a minute, like I ain't practiced this at all. Like I don't know how to catch it. He just catch the ball. So I'm like, man, whatever. 60-yard punt return for a touchdown. So my first two touches, touchdown. This is freshman. So now it's on TV. So now the people in the city, everything. So man, it's 14-0. They drive down, they kick a field goal. It's 14-3. They kick the ball off to the other side, away from me. It's a touchback. So once the ball hits the end zone in Oklahoma, it's a touchback. We won a 44 counter, which was a counter strong, 80-yard touchdown.
This Stillwater.
This is Sapulpa. This is the second week.
Sapulpa, blowing
So
them
I
out.
finished. So I finished the game with like 300 yards rushing,
That's a
3 touchdowns, a kickoff return, and a punt return, and had a receiving touchdown. So now this is not just on like the fans from Owasso and Sapulpa watching, not the whole state of Oklahoma watching. I just had to ride that wave.
Had to, boy.
So
I'd
you see what I'm
have
saying?
been, my
So
head
I
would have been fat.
I would have been a dummy to walk away from that because this is
Makes sense.
me as a freshman playing at the 4th best school in the whole state of Oklahoma in any class.
So you had to have gotten ranked after that.
I didn't
2
man. I
weeks.
didn't know nothing about. I didn't know nothing about.
You
rankings.
was just balling.
Yeah, I was just doing it, and my coach, his son was my quarterback my freshman year, and man, he didn't really want me to shine like that because I was getting. So like one of my games, I had 306 yards rushing. I had 15 carries with 5 touchdowns. But it's like, why you only giving me 15 carries?
15 need to be 30.
So it was just, you know what I'm
it's
saying?
still
He
a
was,
blessing at the same
yeah, he was
time.
trying to keep me tame, man. Cause
Yeah, he freshman year varsity.
Man,
he
I'm like-
thinking 4 years.
I'm like, you gotta
with
let
him.
me- yeah, you gotta
He
let
don't
me
want to let
rock,
him get
man.
beat up that early.
Man,
He
so
thinking
it
like,
was-
give me the rock. We
Yeah,
young.
I'm thinking, I
But
want
maybe he trying to take care of you at that time.
Maybe.
Freshman.
Maybe.
you
I
feel
don't
me?
know. Give
That's
me
how
20
I look.
plus.
You gotta look at it positive. You
Give
gotta
me
find
20
something positive in
Nah,
it.
give me 20 plus.
Yeah, so that's really how football came about. And it was just like my freshman year, I dominated at running back. My sophomore year, then when I moved to Union, I told my head coach, like, man, I don't want to play running back no more. Because now when I went to Union, that was the best program in the state of Oklahoma.
So you was at Owasso. You said it was a top 4 school. Then you switched over to Union,
which was the #1 school.
What was your reason you switched over? Because they was #1, or what was your reason for switching from a good situation you already killing, you already got yourself solidified in this offense? What was your reasoning to switching over to another high school?
Man, so my coach, one of my games in my sophomore year, the head coach from Florida State, he approaches me after the game while we're walking back to the locker room. And he like, how you doing, Dominique? And I'm like, how you doing, sir? And he like, my name is Coach Bowden, I'm from Florida State. And I'm like, oh, okay, coach, I know a lot about the program and you and everything like that. And he like, so I'm glad that you say that, but he was like, are you not interested into coming to Florida State? So I'm like,
huh?
I'm like, coach, what you mean? And he was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've been calling, I've been writing letters, we offered you, and we haven't heard nothing from you.
Sophomore year.
Yeah, so I'm like, coach, no disrespect, like, but I haven't got nothing. So that
you ain't
kind of
calling me.
So that kind of got the ball rolling. So I go in the locker room, and when I go home, and I'm like, hey, mama, I just talked to the Florida State coach, and he said I've been having mail and phone calls. And she's like, well, I haven't got nothing here. So she was like, well, let's have a sit down with your coach. So we go in there, and he was like, yeah, you know, I didn't want to give you all your letters and your offers and stuff because I didn't want you to get too big-headed. So my mama was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not for you to decide.
Right,
Man.
So, man, when I tell you we left with, like, you know the big moving box that's probably like about this big? We're probably about that high. Yeah. Well, I had 2 of those just filled with letters. So I had to have like 6 of my teammates as a sophomore to help me carry 2 big boxes like this filled up with letters.
Like, you got to try real hard to keep that many
That's
letters,
a lot of
bro.
letters, bro, to hide.
Man, but to see the thing was back then when it came to the school, the head coaches at like those programs, they just in their office all day. So they get the letters, so they're able to go through them and then put the stacks of letters for each player. Well, he was just putting my stacks of letters in the box. So like, say y'all came in and then y'all just went over there, y'all got y'all letters because y'all juniors and seniors.
Okay.
I'm not knowing nothing
You
about
had your
being.
box.
I'm not knowing anything about being recruited. So I'm
He
not
was
thinking
like,
like I
whatever.
got letters, like you know what I'm saying. But all of my stuff was in his office.
Hitting all to the side.
And so he was
not
like,
seen.
here go all of your stuff right here. And my mama was just like,
Bro, you know how
We gotta
hard
get out of this situation.
You got to try to hide that
Was he
many letters?
hesitant to bring all that box out?
nah.
But that
He
means
just-
every time he
He
turned
just went
around,
about it. It was like, he just like,
He was like, this is the reason
Bro.
why. Like, I didn't want you to get big headed, but he was like, here you
Get
go.
outta here.
So my mama was like, you know what I'm saying? When we got back home, she was just like, we got to get you out of this situation because
Yeah.
that's not up to him
Bro, every time you
determine,
turned
you know what I'm saying,
around,
what
every
you got
time you
going.
turned your back, he was probably sneaking a letter, bro. Like you
Yeah.
got to try real hard to sneak that many letters.
So with the transfer, did you have to move?
Yeah, I moved.
Okay,
moved.
okay. Because I know if he was keeping your letters, he was not.
He was not about to let you
So-
transfer in somebody's district.
Anywhere.
Well, I'm gonna tell you how crazy this was. So, my mama was real smooth, so she didn't even really tell me. So we finished football season. We do basketball season, right? And the game before we started Christmas break, we actually played against Union. And so I didn't, you know what I'm saying? They beat us my freshman and sophomore year, but I had great games against Union.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they knew who I was, but I didn't really know them, whatever. So I'm sitting at the end of the bench, sophomore. The coach, the varsity basketball coach, won't let me play on a varsity team because his son is my age, and we play the same position. So he didn't want his son to whatever. You know how that is. So
Boy, they tried to hold you back, didn't they?
yeah, so the Union crowd, like right before the game, they just started chanting, "We love Franks. We love Franks." So I'm sitting on the bench, and I'm like, are they saying my name? I don't know nobody over there. Like, I don't know none of them.
Yeah.
So now it's uncomfortable for me. So I'm
Yeah.
like, man, like, I wish they'd stop. Like, this look weird, you know what I'm saying? So Christmas break come around, and my mom was like, hey, we gonna move. So this was the first time we talked about it because she didn't want me to go back to school and say anything. So she waited till Christmas break, smooth. So she was like, hey, we gonna move. We going to Booker T, Jinx, Union, or Broken Arrow. She was like, what 4 schools do you want to try to get into? And,
All them schools cold.
and
this is right after Union was chanting, "We want Frank."
so this is like literally like the next day, that's Saturday.
Okay.
I'm going to Union.
Right.
So,
that's an easy
so
pick.
the reason why I chose Union was because when we went to Athletes First,
You love who love you, man.
yeah, right, back to that. So the reason why I chose Union is going into my 8th grade year for AAU, our head coach was the head coach at Edmond Santa Fe.
Okay.
So it's a rule that you can't have more than 3 kids or something like that on your AAU team that go to your high school.
Right. It's
Well,
like
at
you
that
recruited
time,
them.
he had 5. So his whole starting 5 was going to Santa Fe. So he had to let us go to another team, but he wanted us all to stay together. So we was the ones that started the freshman Athletes First team also having an elite squad.
Okay.
So when I was on the freshman team, it was a point guard named Clint Stewart. He's the head coach at Bartlesville right now.
Okay.
He was on the elite squad. He went to Union. So I built a relationship because we had to practice, go out of town with each other. I was drawn to him. We played the same position, and he was at Union. So I'm like, shit, mom, if we got to move, that's the only person I know here. So at least I'll be able to have
got
one
somebody.
semester. I'll have one semester because I didn't know anybody at Broken Arrow. I didn't know anybody at Jinx.
Right.
And Booker T tried to tell me, you got to take a test to get in. I'm
Oh,
like,
heck
I don't like
no. I don't
school
need
like
that.
that.
Right.
Like, I'm like, I don't like school like that. So I'm like, you cut.
Done.
So it was just like Union, but it was just so crazy how they did that before, and I didn't even know at that point in time when they was doing that, I didn't even know that I was moving.
Right.
And then we come back from Christmas break, and I'm at Union. So my head coach, my head football coach and head basketball coach, they came to my school because we had a 9th and 10th grade center and 11th and 12th.
I had a 9th grade center when I was in Florida.
So they come in. So I'm doing my work. I look up, just see 2 men walk in. Next thing I know, the teacher's like, hey, Dominique, can you go outside? And I'm like, man, I just got here. Like, how am I in trouble already?
What I do?
It's the head varsity coach and everything. They was like, man, we just wanted to see if it was real because we seen the paperwork go through. And my football coach was like, tell me your name again.
Like,
I'm
this ain't really Dominique.
I'm like, Dominique
Franks.
Franks. And the head basketball coach was like, the one that was just at Union? And I'm like, what's going on? I mean, at Wasso. And I'm like, yeah, what's going on? And he was like, they looked at each other and they was like, man, you know how much trouble we gonna get in?
We in the money.
My football coach said, oh, Kurt, we about to win the game. So I was like, man, it's whatever. My basketball coach was like, hey, at 1, I'll be back to come pick you up and bring you to practice.
Oh, man. So,
So-
you know what time it is.
Yeah, so then my first semester at Union, I won a state championship.
That's dope.
But that's how football, that's the reason why I started playing football.
So that was a championship in football
Basketball.
and basketball.
So when I moved second semester,
he was
it was
sophomore.
basketball season. I won it in basketball.
Got it. Okay.
And then my second semester was my junior
Oh, so
year.
you came slip right in basketball season, took a ring.
Yeah. And was starting. So I went from not playing at a trash school to moving to a school that won state, and I started.
Bruh, that's cold.
And then turned around my first football season, I won state in football.
Oh yeah.
Bro, like, it's so hard. It'd be so hard for me to pick football
Or
over basketball. I mean, it'd be like, at that point, I might have picked tennis, because how you pick, bro? Like,
Man, it was just
how you pick?
it was just really being honest with myself. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, hey, when I looked at the NBA guards, I was small. I was 6 foot. But when I looked at NFL corners, they was only like 5'10".
Right, you big.
So I was 6 foot, graduating high school at like 180.
Oh, yeah,
that's
you
big.
But I was the same speed of what a 5'9", 5'10" corner was.
Fofo, I saw it.
So my years coming out, that's when they started gravitating to the big corners.
Yeah.
Because they were still fast. Before that, it was little corners because they was fast, but shit, the receivers started growing. So like, we need bigger corners.
And the crazy, both sports kind of went towards bigger players,
Yep.
bigger guards, bigger corners, bigger receivers.
So even though my heart was into basketball, it was just like, hey man,
Who
you
was
gonna have a
offering
better
you in
chance.
basketball?
Pretty much everybody in the Big 12.
In basketball.
Yeah, because they wanted me to play both sports. Because see, everybody thought the way to get me was to
Offer
offer
basketball.
basketball too.
They
But
smart.
my first basketball offer that didn't have nothing to do with football was from Penn State.
Oh, dang.
Penn State offered me like my sophomore, junior year of high school.
They knew.
Yeah, before I
They
even
knew.
talked to any football coach or anything. So, like I said, my dude who played, that was D1, he ended up signing to A&M. So when they came and watched my first game my senior year after I got hurt, they told my coach, like, hey, why he don't start? And my coach was like, well, he had shoulder problems. He was scared, so he quit the team because he didn't want to mess that up for football. And they was like, well, he's the best kid that we done seen on any of our recruiting trips. We want to offer him a scholarship to play basketball. And my basketball coach was like, he just started laughing. He was like, well, it won't do you any good. And the basketball coach was like, what you mean? And he was like, he gonna be playing on Sundays. And the basketball coach was like, what Sundays? He was like, the NFL.
NFL.
He was like, wait, he's good like that? He was like, call A&M's head coach and ask him about it. And the coach was like, hey, offer him right now and tell him he can play both sports because I want him to come play football. But he was like, he ain't gonna come do it. But
So with all these offers, how'd you end up picking OU then?
And did they offer basketball as well?
they wanted me. They
facts
wanted
they
me,
did.
Sam, Quinn Chaney, Jermaine Gresham, because we all played high level AAU. So it was a joke going around campus that, hey, if we put our football team, we could beat the basketball team.
Big facts.
Because we played at the same level of AAU that y'all played on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you talked about me, Sam, Jermaine. Like, we just took second in nationals. The only team we ever lost to in the summer was Mike Conley and Greg Oden.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you see what I'm saying?
And they end up playing
Understandable.
college together.
So we in the locker room like we can run it in a huff wherever. And
Right.
They was like
Trying to bet.
so the other basketball kids was like, yeah, we could do it. Taylor was like, I don't know, man.
Taylor
Griffin.
Yeah, boy.
Because Taylor kind of like, I grew up playing with them.
Yeah, I already know what time it
So
is.
we was like, yeah, we can play. And so we was like, oh, man, they can go, man.
Like,
So
like,
it was.
you know what? I need to go ice my ankle. I'm good.
Yeah, so we was trying to get it the whole time. It would have been fun, but I mean, to be honest, I didn't even want to go to Oklahoma. Man, they weren't even in like my. I wasn't thinking about them at all. When we moved to Tulsa, my 8th grade year, it was me, my mother, and my stepdad, and he passed away my freshman year of high school.
Oh dang.
So that was my mother's like first real relationship
That kind of
she ever had.
That kind of makes sense now that coach was on it like that at your first
Yeah.
school in Tulsa, and you ain't know nothing about it because you didn't have that father figure
Yep.
there putting that thumb on him like,
Man.
bruh.
So
Come
he thought,
with it.
So
Come
he,
with it.
so he thought he could maneuver moms, but mom's
Yeah,
like,
that
nah.
makes sense now.
So when he passed, it hit my mother hard because that was her first real relationship.
Right.
And then my senior year, my real father passed away.
You had a good relationship with him?
We picked it up that month before he passed. His friend got into a motorcycle accident, and he passed a week after my birthday.
Dang.
Well, my mother never talked about my daddy like that much. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as their relationship goes.
Right.
So your stepdad put the ball in your hand then?
No, my daddy did.
Okay.
But see, as I was growing up, I was with my daddy's mother more than I was actually with him.
Copy.
You know what I'm saying? He was still, you know what I'm saying, do what he wanted to do and everything like that. So I had a cool relationship with him, but it really wasn't like a father-son relationship until when his friend passed away and we talked every day. And man, when I tell you my memory crazy, I remember talking to him a week after my birthday. He passed on a Friday, and that Thursday night, I had just talked to University of Tennessee's head coach, and my daddy is at his best friend's daughter's volleyball game, and I'm like, yo, what's up, daddy? I just talked to Coach Former from Tennessee, and he like, oh, okay, what'd he say? And I'm like, man, he just offered me a scholarship, and he told me whenever I commit, I can pick what position I can start at as a true freshman.
Dang.
But you know what was crazy about our whole conversation is he rushed me off the phone.
The coach.
My daddy. While we was talking. Now that I go back, he never did that. You know what I'm saying? We always talked, and he always was like, hey, son, I love you. We'll rap tomorrow. So he was rushing me off the phone. He was like, hey, y'all play Enid tomorrow. I'm not going to be at the game because I know y'all going to blow him out. I'm going to record it. So I ain't think nothing of it. And then he passed away that next morning. So when I replay that in my mind, I'm like, damn, like, did he know? Like, did he have a feeling? Because he never rushed me off the phone like that.
What did he die from?
He got killed. At Lake Hefner, got shot.
So he felt like somebody was coming for him.
Mm-hmm. So it was just, man, it was
like it might have been in the mix at that point in time.
Mm-hmm. So Coach, to rewind it, so my daddy passed away my senior year. Coach Stoops came my junior spring, and I was just like, man, I have no intentions on coming to the University of Oklahoma unless I have another major tragedy in my family.
Boom.
And then fast forward. My dad passed away a week after my birthday.
Now you can't leave moms.
Yeah, because it hit her so hard. Because then that's when she told me that they've been knowing each other since the 2nd and 3rd grade, and I was really her best friend. So I didn't know that her and my daddy was still so close. Like I didn't know that. So it was just like,
man, crazy what your parents try to keep you from.
Man, right. So growing up, my family, growing up in a single mother household, like my grandma, my mother, my 2 aunts, and uncle would put $20 together just to give me basketball shoes, stuff like that I needed. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't grow up to where if I went far and something else happened, they was going to be able to pay for my plane ticket back. Right. So that's what made me be like, hey, I need to stay close to home. So as y'all know, y'all here in Norman, we stay in the Big 12 region.
Right.
I'm not going to Oklahoma State.
At all.
Texas didn't recruit out of the state of Texas. So it was be like, where else am I going to go? Man, I went to Texas Tech on an official visit.
You wasn't feeling Kansas at all?
Man, the Kansas was terrible when I was in high school.
It was football.
Oh, yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, not basketball.
So, yeah, football, that was terrible. So I go to Texas Tech for an official visit, and we get off the plane, I look, and I'm like, man, this is terrible. I'm like, who lives out here? So get my bag. The sliding doors open. I'm walking to get into the coach's car, and I'm like, yo, it's like the Wild Wild West out here. I call my DB coach. I'm like, hey man, I'm about to commit right now. He like, all right. He was like, where you at? I'm like, man, I'm about to take an official visit to Texas Tech, but I'm like, I already know I ain't gonna like it, so I'm committing right now. Yeah. So I committed to Oklahoma
on your way to Texas Tech.
No, not on my way. While I was there, I was off the plane. My official visit was
the deal for you.
My official visit was literally about to start. Like I was walking to the car to meet my DB coach from Tech, so he could drive me to the hotel. And I'm like this. I'm walking slow, and I'm like, hey, Coach Wright, like, hello. I'm committing right now. He's like, where you at? I'm like, I'm at Tech on an official visit, but I was like, I don't think this is going to work out. And he was like, good. Thank God it ain't going to work out. He was like, because I wanted you bad. So that's how, so I wanted to go to my 8th grade. I wanted to go to Miami or Tennessee. The reason why I wanted to go to Miami was because 8th grade, I started playing football, right? That's when I, got into it. They was playing against Nebraska. Well, one of the kids that I was best friends with, he was a Nebraska fan. So that's the only reason why I watched the game. So I watched the game just because their family was watching the game. And I'm like, wait a minute. They got on Meriton advisors? I was like, I ain't never seen that. I was like, I want to go to Miami.
They go.
I was like, I want to
They
go
got
to
all the
Miami.
swag.
They go.
So that's where Miami came from. And then when Coach Former called me and was like, hey, as soon as you commit or whenever you sign, you can pick what position you want to start at as a true freshman. He said as soon as you put your name or commit, you starting.
Real quick. So when did you decide corner? Because, I mean, you keep saying they were saying pick, and, like, you never really kind of officially said when you picked corner or went from playing running back to playing
Okay, so
corner.
when my 8th grade freshman sophomore year, played running back. When I moved to Union, that's when I made that transition to corner.
What made you switch?
Man, because when I was at Owasso, I was killing. So the best programs back then was Union, Jinx, Broken Arrow, and then I was at the 4th best school.
Okay.
Well, I was trashing those 3
Okay.
as a freshman and sophomore. So when I moved, I'm like, if I'm at the 4th best school and I'm trashing the top 3 schools, well, when I go to the number 1 school, it's really gonna be boring.
Oh, God.
So I went in there and talked to my coach, and I was like, hey, coach, I wanna change positions. And he was like, well, why? He was like, why?
I said actually the same
Because
thing.
my freshman year, I rushed for 1,800 yards, and I was on a passing team. Like, my quarterback, my freshman year, he broke the Oklahoma State passing record, and I still rushed for 1,800 yards. My second year, I rushed for like 15 or 16. He was like, man, why would you want to change? I'm like, coach, like I said, like, it won't be fun. I'm going to be bored. So he was like, hey, well, you got to promise me, like, if I let you change positions, if I ever need you at running back,
Okay,
you
I was
would
about to
do
say,
it.
because I'm still wondering how you going to.
So I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. So my junior year, I moved to corner. I just wanted to try something new.
And you ain't play no corner? Or was you not? Did you go both ways at all?
At Owasso, no. I was strictly a running back.
You go both ways at Union?
Whenever they needed me. Then whenever they needed me, he put me in and I scored. Like literally, like whenever he put me at running back, I scored and then
crazy.
just went back to
I
defense.
understand why he picked football now. 'cause-
If it's like that, it's like that.
Like for real, it's crazy.
So then you get to OU and you red shirt. What was that decision like?
Was that your decision?
Man, it was a coach's decision. I wasn't ready for that because I wasn't really into football, so I never lifted weights. I never did anything extra. So my mind wasn't ready and my body wasn't ready. So I needed to redshirt. That was actually
And you
that
went in
was-
there knowing that?
Yeah, because since I wasn't in the football like that, it was kind of like, man, I don't really care to be here. Like it still wasn't like important to me. Still playing football, like I was still just riding the wave. I'm just like, yeah, whatever.
that.
So now you get a chance.
So
you
skill versus hard work.
Yeah, I was blessed. I was
Skill.
really blessed. No lie. Like I was blessed to never lift weights in high school, college, NFL, none of that. And
But then
NFL?
I'm gonna let you read it too, so y'all don't think I'm lying. Like that's a
Show
real
it to
article.
me.
Yeah, that's
Show
a
it
real
to me.
article.
So he brought up skill because you was blessed.
Mm-hmm.
But how hard did you have to work that red shirt year to get ready to be that dog?
Man, to be honest, I didn't really work hard because it still wasn't important to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel it.
You know,
though.
you know when it's important to you, hey, I want to wake up early. I want to do this. Like it was just kind of like I rode that wave, and it was just a blessing that my natural ability took over. And then it was like that's really how I got my chance to start. But I'm gonna be honest, like I didn't outwork anybody when I was in college.
That's skill. They loved him for the skill.
Like really,
first.
I didn't know anybody will tell you. So anybody that you know, be like, man, how many times Dominique worked out? And they're gonna be like, man, he never worked out. He was always in trouble. He was always in trouble. So bro, like it's not me being funny or anything like
I
that.
believe you. We talked about
We
it
had a
on a previous
conversation about
episode. Talent versus hard work. What he believes in, what I believe in. He believes in skill. I believe in hard work. Or he believes in talent. I believe in hard work. So clearly, you was talented.
Right.
So what do you believe in? Talent versus hard work.
When you and to put the question, what do you think they looking at first? Is what I was kind of.
Oh, what they looking at first? Oh, talent.
They don't take the talent first.
He just twisted the whole question up. We ain't even talk about what they looking at first.
But
Just
I mean,
purely.
I think really like, I mean, to be honest, I done seen it both ways. Like I done lived it to where I was talented. I didn't work hard. But it's a lot of people in this world that wasn't talented, but they worked hard and they just gotta they got better at their craft.
Got it down.
So then they made it. So either way, both of y'all are right.
Like,
There's
ain't
no right or wrong.
Like, it ain't no knock.
answer.
Like, you played 5 years in the NFL. That's dope, right? But do you think you could have played more? Do you think you could have done more, you know what I'm saying, had you worked hard at it? Because he played JUCO. He said he won one game his JUCO year, and he didn't really work hard in basketball.
But I still was averaging.
He said, if I
almost
worked hard, maybe I win 10 games. I'm like, bro, that's a 9-game improvement.
Yeah, like I
come on.
definitely could have played. Well, I could have took football a lot farther than what I did if I actually cared for
If
it.
your heart was in it.
Yeah, because like I said, I never worked. Like my off season in the NFL, I went to LA Fitness and I played basketball from 12 to 3 every day.
I read that.
So that's literally all I did. Like, so if I really would have took football serious in high school, I mean, there's no telling. Like, I could probably still be playing right now.
Right.
But it just wasn't. It wasn't important to me, so I couldn't physically make myself go lift, go run, go do back pedal drills. I was just like, man, I'm about to go hoop.
No, I'm about to go get it.
So,
in.
as a football, basketball player, there's this question that I've been having going around on social media, and it's been a lot of arguments. So, I'm going to ask you, because you play both, which sports takes more skill, football or basketball?
Basketball, that's easy.
I say basketball, yes, coming from both ways, but playing both. I say
Taking a
basketball.
long answer. I feel
but-
like that's the easy one.
So, what do you think?
Bro, it's just so tough because every position in
And
football,
we're skill
like,
players. We're skill players.
Yeah,
so
like
we're
you
talking
gotta be so skilled in your craft that the natural eye, if you don't have a football background, you're not really gonna catch it. So basketball, you can catch it because when we talking skill, that means you had a ball in your hands.
Right.
So it's easy to say James Harden is skilled because he has the ball 90% of the time. But if you was to watch football, you wouldn't know how skilled Gerald McCoy was because the cameraman is not on Gerald, it's on a quarterback. So to me, it's hard.
That's a different
I
perspective.
like how you said.
You know what I'm
how you
saying?
put
It's,
that.
it's
Go ahead.
hard for me to really say which one is which because it's hard for a football player to go play basketball and then it'd be hard for a basketball player to go play football. Just
But how you
depending.
say that when you a football player, basketball player, and you shined at both? I'm a football player, basketball player, and I shined at both.
A lot of people, but see, even though that me and you did that, it's not a lot of people that could actually do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's
That's
just
really
But
what
do
I
you-
want to get in.
But do you feel like the reason why you were so good at both is because you played basketball for so long, footwork, worked on your skill to do all that stuff, to now you got the ball in your hand, you ain't got to do so much with that ball. On football, you got less stuff that you have to worry about handling with football and just more your body skill and your way you move yourself.
Technique.
Yeah, technique. Then with the basketball, we got to have all this technique and still dribble this thing and put it in the hole.
But see, when you get to, so it's really the same dynamic. So when you say, if you take an offensive player, it's the same as a basketball player. So if you're talking about footwork with the ball, that's just like a running back, just like a quarterback, or just like a receiver.
Okay.
And then when you move to the defensive side of it, well, my technique, my back pedal has to be good.
Right.
And then just like you said, putting it in a hole, well, now that's me either catching the interception
Breaking down on that route.
or making a tackle.
Okay.
So it's all really the same for me. I've been seeing that going around, and I'm like, I was thinking about it, and I was just like,
That's why. Hey,
that's tough, man. Because I played with a guy at Oklahoma, and he's the best. He's probably the best left tackle or O lineman in the game, which is Trent Williams.
Okay.
But he's probably the most athletic person I've ever seen. But he probably weighed like 350.
Like a Zion.
So you see what I'm saying? So as you're talking about a basketball person, I done seen O linemen be able to move just like
Like
that.
a hooper. Okay.
Like I done seen some football players do freaky stuff just like a basketball person would do. But it's hard to say a basketball person could move over to football because most basketball people don't like the football contact of it. So you would never really be able to see how good a basketball player would really be if they didn't have a football background.
That's why I ain't play football.
You see what I'm saying?
lie.
But see, you're still athletic, but see, it's different. So then if we put you on a football field, you're not really going to be loose and just going out there and doing what you able to do. So then me and him wouldn't be able to grade you on
Football.
who has more skill.
Right.
So it's just different, man. I just think it's a great debate, and just whatever you love more, that's what you're gonna say.
Right.
I get that.
I feel that.
I had to ask it because I know you just like you said I've been seeing it go around.
Man,
I know it's a good question.
So for the record, okay, these two fools are just gifted. Just because they're skilled and they pick skill doesn't mean you don't need to work hard.
No, you got to work hard.
I work hard for mine.
You gotta work hard.
I work
Your
hard for
talent
mine.
will probably get you.
You gotta work
further.
hard. Yeah, that's like you said. That's gonna be the first thing. That's gonna be the first thing that they see. But that hard work is a major key to anything. But what's gonna catch your eye is talent.
Yeah.
But if you don't work hard, you're not gonna make it, because at the end of the day, it's gonna be somebody that's just as talented as you, but they work hard.
Right.
So then they're gonna be better than you because they're gonna know the little tricks and stuff like that. But
Right.
you get a couple of rare breeds where it just work out in their favor.
Big facts. So boom, so you get cut from the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Talk to me about
This
that.
year 5.
Yeah, this year 5.
Year 5.
Man, getting cut from the Ravens was some BS, to be honest.
They didn't even give you a real shot.
So the thing
From what I
was,
saw.
I was really the scapegoat in that whole situation, because when you become vested in your 4th year, whenever you're on a roster, week 1, your contract is guaranteed. So when I went to Baltimore, they released me in training camp so they could keep more receivers. So then when they brought me back like week 4 or week 5, now my contract wasn't guaranteed. So now when you release me, now you don't have to pay me anymore. So when we had the bad game against Pittsburgh, I was the scapegoat to be like, hey, well, since my contract wasn't guaranteed, well, let's cut him because Big Ben threw for like 550. But then if you go look at the stats, I only gave up like 15 or 30 yards of that. So it's like, damn, y'all cutting me. But
I did my thing.
Right.
But he didn't do none of this on me. So it's just a whole different thing. And it's just different, man. When some people, when some organizations are trying to save face with the fans and make it look like, hey, we're trying to move forward.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just a business. So, I
business.
respect it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
That's all it is. It's a business. And that just catapulted me to be like, hey, man, we were sitting on the couch and my mom was like, man, I miss you hooping. And I was like, you know what?
I miss me hooping.
Let me call Ep6 and see what's the best routes or things that I could do to try to get overseas to play. So that was a
straight
blessing.
to it. As soon as you dipped off, just straight back to
went,
hoop.
You went straight
It was
to
a
the
blessing.
first love.
Because like I said, like I never really wanted to do football. So I really needed that excuse to be like, well, I'm done with it. Then. Like, I'm cool. You know what I'm saying?
That was
like,
a heck of a reason, though.
So if I still loved it, I would still be trying, because I still had call, like even when I got released from Baltimore, I was still getting calls like, hey, we want you to come play. Green Bay, Arizona. But it's just like, man, after seeing that business side of it,
How
I'm
they
like,
did you. That- they did you
I really don't want to do it. But I still had chances to go do it, but it was just like, man, I don't want to play no more. And then once they said that about basketball, because like I said, I didn't know nothing about overseas. So when they said it, I was like, man, let me contact Ep6 and, you know what I'm saying, see if he can talk to his agent. And it happened in like 6 months.
So then in 6 months, you ended up in Montenegro.
Well, I went to Spain first.
You went to Spain
So
first.
I did a couple of like,
the academy.
I did a couple of little academy. I did one showcase in Vegas. And then I went to Spain Academy, and the Montenegro man, he came over there to the academy and he offered me a deal, which was kind of weird, because I know, so we can go into detail of it. So like I said, I always look at everything realistically. So I stopped playing organized basketball my senior year when we lost in the state championship.
Right.
So I done took 7-8 years off.
Right.
So when I went to Montenegro, he was like, hey, man, I love your game, whatever. But he was like, I can't offer you no money. So I'm like, well, tell me more about the league. So he told me they on Eurobasket. So when I talked to the academy man, he like, nah, don't take it, because he not going to be able to pay you. I'm not looking at it for money. So now I got to be realistic with myself, because I don't have no basketball film.
Yeah.
So I said, if I'm a basketball coach, why would I sign a guy that haven't played in 7-8 years? So I'm taking this deal.
You kept it a hundo with yourself. That's fire.
So I paid for my flight. I paid for my food. I paid for my living.
Bless you was in the position to do it.
Because I needed that film. So if you say this is a credible league,
Right.
I just need the film. Everything else is gonna work itself out.
Right.
But for the money that I made from football and everything like that, I don't need this money, but I need this opportunity.
Yep.
So the opportunity was bigger than me waiting. Because when I was at the academy, people was like, "Hey man, like I'm not going anywhere for less than $2,000." And they younger cats, and I was just like, "Hey man, like
that bread."
But my thing is you can't look at it like that. Because if you was going back home, you would be hooping for free.
Right.
You wouldn't be working.
Oh man.
So you see what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
So you can't go overseas and say, well, I'm only signing for this much. But if you was at home, you would be playing for free.
Working
And
out
then I
hard
said,
for
At LA Fitness.
and I said,
YMCA.
right now, you've been over here for 5 to 6 months and you've been over here without getting paid.
But
So,
you don't want to take
with-
no less than 2 racks.
With no job. There was people over there for 6 months.
Yeah,
so
that
how
logic,
can you,
that logic ain't right.
So you see what I'm saying? But they was younger, so I'm trying to put him on game. Like, hey, you just got to get your foot in the door. Like the hardest, the thing that I found out about overseas don't have anything to do with your ability to play basketball. It's all about who you know.
It's who you know. So peep game, right? I had an opportunity to go to Italy, third league.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted me to get my flight, you know, and that was it. They was gonna pay for me to eat or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But they weren't gonna be able to give me nothing like, I think it was 700 euros. I ain't talked about this publicly yet, right?
Yeah.
So 700 euros, you know, that ain't nothing. That's like $600 or $500 or whatever it was. And so at the time I had my son, man, he wasn't even 1 yet, you know, but I didn't have the ability to get that plane ticket and go, you know what I'm saying, take a chance on myself.
Yeah.
Because I love my wife, but you know, at the same time it was like, I don't want her to look at me like, man, you going over there for what? You know what I'm saying? For a maybe? You know what I'm saying? As a man, you know, I didn't have that to fall back on, like, man,
That's
I
a
can
fact.
pay for myself. I can pay for myself to get over there, you know what I'm saying, and for a maybe. You know what I'm saying? So I had to pass up on that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was, and this was after I had already went to Puerto Rico. I paid for my flight. Well, my mama paid for my flight. You know, her and her husband. I appreciate that. They paid for my flight, paid for my rental car, paid for my hotel. And then the Cangrejeros, their Santurce team, picked it up after I was there for a week. They was like, okay, he can go. So they picked up everything else, and they cut me after training camp. And so I couldn't go do that twice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
I
a
couldn't
fact.
go to Italy. This was Puerto Rico. That's not that far.
That's a
But
fact.
Italy, I couldn't go to Italy. And even though they was like, please just come, people gonna see you and it's gonna be over after that. Like, it's gonna be a wrap. That's not how they talk. That's my
Yeah,
translation.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They was like, it's gonna be a wrap. They just gotta see you and you're gonna be straight.
And that's it.
And I felt that, bro. Like, I felt that in my core. But I was like, as a man, and I got a kid, and I got this woman depending on me.
And it all boils down to what's important. Like, your family is gonna be more important. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like you said, going out on a whim, like, hey, we don't know if this is gonna work out. And then so that means you're gonna be 10 months away from your youngin'. And then now you're not being able to help provide back home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just a tough situation, but it's just like, man, if more people were in a position where, like I was, were being able to do it, like, man, we would have so many people overseas because it has nothing to do with ability.
It has nothing to do with
It's just
ability.
who you know. Because, like, even David Gabo. David Gabo got me he had me a tryout with his, like, first league team or second league team in Germany.
Yeah.
The coach never seen me before. Just because their point guard got hurt, they looked at David because he was the American. And David was like, hey, I got a guard in Oklahoma. So they was going to allow me to come try out and work out with the team just on the strength of what he said.
For sure.
So I'm like, that's really what it's about. Because you hear people that's been overseas and they be like, man, it's just about who you know. It don't have nothing to do about how well you can play. It's who do you know? Can they see you? Because that basketball over there is, man, it's nothing like how it is in America.
So what's the comp like?
It's bad. It's not good at all.
It depend on what division you are too, because when, you know, like I said, there was third league Italy that was offering me. I know I could have went over there and wrecked it, bro. Like,
But I want you to be serious. I want you to be, like, really think about it. There's no other country that has better basketball than us.
no other country.
At all.
So it don't matter what league you play in. The higher league you go, the better the American is.
Right.
That's what I had to figure.
So you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you're talking about a league being good. Like, no, the American is better because they're able to offer
And
more,
that's why they
offer
limit.
more money.
That's why they limit how many Americans
So
can be on the
their
team.
basketball as a whole, like all of those countries, basketball is not their first sport.
It was cricket.
Like basketball is our
I went to
our first
Bangladesh.
sport.
I went to Bangladesh first. Their first sport was cricket.
Yeah, so no matter so what I see is no matter what level you on, you're still gonna be better. Like our pickup sessions are better
Man, I'll pick up
than they
sessions so
sessions.
hard.
You see what I'm saying? But
I'm
when
still
you get to
salty
those,
you beat us in the playoffs a couple weeks ago. So
y'all got cheated, man. You know I'm a realist. Y'all got cheated on that because
100.
even I stopped and was like, that ain't a foul. Hey man, grab the ball, man. Grab the ball.
Ain't our fault.
But nah, you speaking facts though.
Nah, for real.
Speaking facts, it's the level of the Americans. That's why they limit it to 2 or 3, depending on the league or whatever.
And those big leagues are they the ones in their country that can spend the most money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you look at overseas basketball and you take away the Americans, I mean, overseas basketball wouldn't be any good.
At all.
So if you think about all those guys, that's why they're trying to pay more money overseas to make their leagues better. Instead of people going to the
China.
G League. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like China spending that bread, but if you ever watch the league, you're like, bro, y'all are terrible.
I mean, you got cats over there getting 40.
No, you got
maybe
cats
30.
over there with 30, 40 3-point attempts.
Big facts.
Like, have you seen
Fredette?
Jimmer Fredette? Jimmer
Fredette.
Fredette is shooting like 43s a game.
No
Bro,
way.
Right, bro. So that
you
their
remember-
scoring is like, man.
I
it's-
played with a dude in college named Andrew Doobie. His older brother was Quincy Doobie, played at Rutgers. I think he dropped 90 or something like that in
Yeah,
China.
bro. It's not.
You
And
can
then
look that up. His
and
brother.
then, bro, like when you get over there, like if a foreigner got to guard you, you better give him 30
you have to
because most of the time you don't want your two Americans
to get dimes.
to guard each other because they're gonna tire out. So most of the time the Americans don't even guard each other. So now just say a Chinaman is having to guard you. Well, you looking at him like, I'm about to kill. But I'm on the other team like, now your Chinaman got to guard me. So
Right, I'm
I
gonna
got to
kill.
kill him. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is like when you get to
It's a
overseas.
race. It's a race to 30.
That's it. I mean, and you like, but that's really how it is because when you actually watch their style of play, you just like, I mean, it's cool.
it looks
It's
slow.
cool. Yeah, it's more about fundamentals and passing, cutting because they want the team atmosphere. Like they kind of like the San Antonio Spurs.
We ain't got this. When you don't have the skill aspect of it, you got to be
play more.
fundamentally sound.
You play more as a team. So that's why most older Europeans they don't like American basketball because they say we just play 1-on-1, and they play more of the team game. So even like San Antonio, Kawhi never stood out in San Antonio. So remember when he first went to Toronto, they was like, man, do we
I
think
didn't know he could do this.
you see what I'm saying? But he had that all along.
Right.
But that wasn't what Pop was pushing.
Right. Because
So
San Diego
that's-
State coach had him like that.
So
too.
that's what Pop's coaching style is, a European style
Yeah,
where we
that's
play
right.
as a team and we be good as a whole instead of just depending on, hey, we need you to go get 30 every night for us to be good. But now a real coach, how they coaching, you get 15, I get 15, he get 10 or 15, and we gonna win every game.
So
I'm
when
gonna
you
get 16 just because y'all getting 15.
when you get overseas though, so when they get overseas, even though they got that team orientation, do they tell the American go get buckets? Though?
Oh yeah. When you step off, the reason why they coming to get you is as soon as you step off that plane, you better be able to drop 25, 30.
Listen,
As soon as you step off that plane. Like, they
Listen.
don't care how long your flight is. We got a game today. You better go get 25.
man, when I was at practice in Puerto Rico, the pressure was crazy because anytime I had a lane, they expected me to dunk it, bro. And so I remember getting a steal. At half court. This is practice. And I had a translator. So the head coach yelled, whatever he yelled in Spanish. And my translator said, mid-stride. I wasn't about to dunk it, bro. We on 2 days for 6 days a week, whatever it was. I'm in mid-stride. He said, you better dunk it. So I had to turn the layup over into a dunk. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, every day I'm getting sent home if I don't bring it. So
It's
that's
crazy. So let me break down. Let me break that down to you because I know the viewers. You kind of asked a question, so it don't get confusing. So they don't like our style of basketball because they look at our style of basketball, James Harden. So you dribbling out the clock.
Right.
So what they want their American to do when you get overseas is, I need you to be able to score in 3 or 4 dribbles.
king of the court.
Yeah, straight.
You see what I'm saying? Okay. Because now they're expecting like, hey, I want you to kill, but the more dribbles you take, it's gonna allow my man to come W. Well, if we don't want you to score and you're not worried about me scoring, you go okay with me scoring. So they want you to be able to wiggle 3 or 4 dribbles and get your bucket. Okay. Versus dribble how we do, and we don't send a double.
Right.
And you just dribble out the whole shot clock. So that's the difference. They still want you to play a team. Because if you think 3 or 4 dribbles is only like 6-7 seconds. So you still got the rest of your shot clock.
Right.
But if you dribble the whole shot clock, that's what they don't like.
Man, so we kept you for mad long. You dropping gems. Well, I'm having fun. I'm enjoying myself.
I love it, man.
So to wrap this up, okay, you played 1 year in Montenegro. Sounds like you had a great experience. You know what I'm saying? Is your basketball career over, or do you think you're gonna continue doing it?
Nah, it's over. It's over with, man. Like I just wanted to finally, like I said, man. I played football, and because I rode the wave. Good in high school, good in college. Okay, what's the next step after that? And I never really got to do what I wanted to do. So basketball, I was able to work out 3 times a day. I put all of my eggs in one basket, got overseas, and I was able to do something that I wanted to do. So that 1 year, I was able to wipe my hands clean from that.
You went out the way you wanted to go out.
So that was just important for me to be able to do what I wanted to do. But shoot, right now, man, breaking news because they haven't came out with the press release. But I'm gonna be coaching at Owasso.
Hey,
Varsity football, man. I've been having a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, talk to me about it, but I didn't want to do it. But the head coach at Owasso was my head coach at Union. And just to shed some light on our relationship, my mother told him that my father passed away so he could break the news to me.
Oh.
So that's how cool me and him is. So I told him like, hey, the only person that I would coach for would be for you, because I didn't want to do it. Right. So people was like, man, I thought you didn't want to coach, but when that one person asked you, I have that much respect for him that I'll come and do it, no questions asked.
Man, well, that's kind of how you did for us on this show.
Oh man, look, I appreciate y'all having me, man. I didn't know what you was about to ask me. Nah. You said, hey man, I'm gonna hit you up on Twitter. I'm like,
Twitter?
You could just get my number, right? I'm like, what's going on? Then I heard him in the back. I heard you in the background, like, oh yeah, get that. So I'm like, oh, what about that?
And look, this is after he beat us, man. So you know we got respect for you.
How he felt in the state game is how we felt in that playoff game.
It was bad, man. Y'all got cheated, man. You know, I'm always trying to keep it 100, but y'all got cheated on that,
man. So before I let you go, real quick story, right? So remember, man, R.I.P. Mike Young. Remember we played in that first tournament together.
Yeah.
I don't like Skins. We gonna have you on the show soon. He put together a tournament. So that's my first time ever playing with you. And I'm keeping it 100. I don't know nothing about football. You know what I'm saying? So I never, people like Franks. You know, I didn't even know who you was.
Yeah.
I just was like hearing you was good. And so I was like, man, they probably on this dude Jock because he played in the NFL.
Yeah.
So I get out there. First time playing with you. We on teams together.
Right.
And I'm like playing with you. I'm like, they not just letting them go by him.
But I remember that. Man. I think we was at PC North.
We was at PC.
We was at the tournament at PC North. Yeah. We was in the back gym. Yeah, I remember that.
Because we put that team together off of nothing. And we was balling.
Because I think Mike was like, hey, my homie can hoop. I'm like, hey, bring him. Because at that time, I didn't really know anybody.
Yeah.
So that was my first time hooping in a skins event too.
Right.
So we was
we was the first time together. Yeah. And we was getting busy, dog. Man, I remember that.
I was just hooping with Mike at Quail, and I don't know how our relationship, like we just got tight.
He was like that, bro.
He was
like that. That's how him and I got cool.
That's how we got cool.
Because we all got the same spirit. You know what I'm saying? Same spirit. So you real recognize real.
Because then you and Mike worked together, right?
We worked together.
We did too.
Okay. So
together.
when Mike said, I was like, bro, bring him. He was like, bro, he can go. I'm like, hey, man, it don't matter. Bring him.
Bro.
We need a body. Bring him.
And, so that was my first time hooping with you. And I was like, this dude played in the NFL. This dude can go.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know, man, because I don't like talking about it, man. Like I said, bro, I'm just like everybody else.
For sure.
So people like, bro, why you don't wear a lot of jewelry or why you don't tell people you play? But it's like, that don't matter, man.
It don't matter.
That don't matter. Just like me and you hooping.
Yeah.
what me playing football got to do with anything?
Nothing.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it don't have nothing to do with nothing. Like, we hooping.
Especially you can go.
We vibing. Like, that's it. Like, I'd rather somebody vibe with me because of the person I am, not being like, ooh, I want to talk to him just because this is what he did in the past.
I feel that.
And
so I never bring it up.
I mean, honestly, sometimes I don't talk to some people just because I don't want them to feel like I'm talking to them because of
they
that.
got some stuff.
Because in Orlando, that's the culture. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, dudes is on dudes because of who they are.
Yeah.
And so, you know, anyway, so we ain't gonna get into all that.
Hey, shout out to Lake Nona.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know about
you know Lake Nona. Yeah, boy. Hey, you done been around, so you probably know more than I think you know for sure. So
I've been out there a little bit.
man, so boom, my man Domo. Oh, can't let you go without asking you this. Why you hoop with goals in your mouth?
Man,
I think it's dope.
so to be honest, bro, going into my senior year,
You did this in high school too?
Yeah, I just got it.
Fire.
I had it permanent. So I come home one day, we eating, and my mom was like, "Hey, why your mouth shining?" Because I'm trying. She was like, "Boy, why the F your mouth shining?" I was like, so, you know, I just got used to it. So I had it my senior year. Then I had it my 4 years of college. I just had top. And when I was going to, right, like a week before the combine, my agent was like, "Hey, that might not be a good look."
It really came for football though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my agent was like, "Hey man, that really might not
swag.
be that really might not be a good look." You know what I'm saying? You going to talk to coaches with goal in your mouth or whatever. So I went to the dentist and they took it out. So I just got used to it. And when you wear a grill, you can't put a mouthpiece over it. So I just got used to it.
Yeah.
So now when I hoop, I don't want to wear a mouthpiece. So I just hit up my jeweler and I said, "Hey man, I need tops and bottoms."
I had my bottoms in high school too.
Man, I loved it. It was the coolest, bro. Kids loved it, bro. Like other student sex, so like Jinx was our rivalry, bro. So like, you know, they did the whole like turn their back, look at the newspaper, hey, announcing that guard. They like, who cares? So they knew I was going last. So they did that for the first 4 people. They all turned around. And when the announcer announced my name, I got to like right where my last dude was, and it was they student section, and they started chanting, let me see your grill. Let me see your grill. So I did all like, and they just went crazy.
Oh,
so
that's fire.
So it was like playing against your rival, they cheering you on, they booing everybody else, but cheering you just so they could see your grill. So it was cool, man.
Bro, every time you play with the grill in your mouth, like you can't do stuff like that when you're not cold. And then am I lying? So when you play with the grill in your mouth and then you getting buckets, I'm like, man, I can't stand this dude right now.
It's so funny. People be like, people that don't know me, they be like, is that something in his mouth? Like, what is that? Like,
it ain't nothing worse than somebody like you don't talk trash when you hoop. I don't talk trash when I hoop. But you got that grill talking every time you get a bucket, bro. Like that's like you talking without talking, bro.
Bro, that's funny, man.
Goodness, bro. So
that's funny.
Nah, man, you came through, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in.
Definitely a good show, man. Definitely.
Man, thanks for having me, for real.
Man,
For real.
My man Damo came and he dropped gems that he picked up from these gyms and that field.
Facts.
Give me some. Holla.
Facts, my brother.
Appreciate you.
I appreciate y'all, man. For
Hey,
real.
let us know. You see we still rocking, so keep staying tuned. Let us know what y'all like.
Holla.